Hey everyone, what's happening? Lex back today for another Brawl Stars video, and today we are going to be going over the Championship Challenge, how you can get 15 wins in this month's Championship Challenge. Now, once again, I've called on the help of the captain of the World Champions in Brawl Stars, SpinLC, and he's given me his best picks for each of these maps, as well as some strategy on how to attack each one. Additionally, I'm going to give you some of my picks, ones that may be a little bit easier to play or maybe that you have unlocked. We're going to give you some alternatives as well. One more thing before we hop into the first set is that Brawl Talk is coming. The countdown has already started. Now, if you want all the information on the update, the full breakdown of everything, be sure to subscribe to this channel right here. I will bring it to you as soon as we possibly can. And I wanted to thank you all for using code LEX in the shop. Me and my family do really appreciate you all for using code LEX in the shop. It really does help support me, my 7 kids, and my wife. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. So let's hop into the very first set at Hard Rock Mine. But before we hop into all of that, a word from our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Summoner's War. Summoning them up, all right. 100 scrolls free, all right. The Hydra, that's a Hydra. 3-headed. I don't know. I don't think they can take this thing down. There's a lot of them. Okay, all right. I guess we're going to have to find out later. Many have imitated, but it can never be duplicated because Summoner's War is the classic mobile turn-based RPG. And to celebrate 6 years since they first launched, they are giving away 100 free summons. You can try out various team comps as well as use runes to strengthen your monsters and progress through the game. Summoner's War is a turn-based RPG where you can collect over 1,000 unique monsters. You utilize team strategies to clear different dungeons. There is a global PvP arena, weekly in-game events, and what's more, you can customize your very own Sky Island. Find out which monsters you will summon to start your very own journey. What are you waiting for? Start summoning right now. If you download right now, you will get 100 mystical scrolls for free. Can you beat the price of free? No, I don't think you can. Why don't you go download right now? The link is in the description. Once again, thanks to Summoners of War for sponsoring this video and helping to support my channel. You guys go check it out. All right, so the very best brawlers that you can play on this map, according to Spin, are Jean, Sprout, and Ems. And just a little side note, if you got Sprout unlocked, congratulations, you're going to be doing pretty darn well in this challenge because he's everywhere. One of the great things about using these 3 brawlers on this map is that you can really play any of these brawlers in the mid. Jean's probably the best and the most, usual that you would see play in the mid, but you can play any one of them. However, it's probably best if you take Sprout and he can hold a lane against multiple brawlers, especially like down the side. With his range and area of effect, he does such a great job. And if you need to, you can drop down a wall so that people can't exit on the sides there. Really useful. Now, this map is rather open, but some of your biggest plays that you're going to get is by bringing your Ems, sneaking her up around the side, getting position, and using that to crossfire on the enemies and really pinch them and push them into one spot where you can just decimate them. Some other good mids here are Pam, Poco, and Piper. Now, I wouldn't suggest playing Piper unless you're really good with her. If you are really good with Piper, she's really deadly. She can stay back in the grass there with ambush, deal tons of damage, walk out into the mid, grab gems, and use her super to get back. It works really well, but only if you're really good with Piper. Other good brawlers on the lane, according to Spin, are Jackie, Rosa, Brock, Penny, Mr. P, and Mortis. That's right, Creatures of the Night unite. Mortis can work pretty well on this map. You're going to want to sneak him around, get him in the grass back there, and just be really aggro and harass the enemy. Pick on those squishy brawlers. The 3 brawlers that you do not want to play, according to Spin, are Dynamite, Colt, and Tick. And Tick, dude, I was going to play Tick. Dang it. All right, that's why you don't listen to me. You listen to Spin. Some overall tips for this map. If you're going to use a bigger brawler like Rosa, who's really good on this map, you can use her gadget to link bushes and provide some cover and keep the enemies guessing where you're coming from. Now, like I said, Mortis is a good pick on this map. However, you're going to have to be careful. Since this is the opening set of the challenge, you may not face off against another brawler that is going to be a good matchup for Mortis, like a Sprout. That's why you're going to see a lot of Mortis in this guide, because Sprout's going to be so prevalent, and he's a great counter to Sprout. But use him with caution in the early rounds. Probably the biggest tip on this map is do not let another brawler get into the grass on your side. If they are able to do that, it's going to wreak havoc on your team. Whoever's playing the lane on the right-hand side, that is your #1 goal. Do not let them into the grass. Just be Gandalf sitting there, you shall not pass. A team comp that I would play for this map is something like Poco, Rosa, and Ems. You've got a tank to go aggro, you got Poco to heal up that tank, and you got Ems who just provides so much support. You could swap out a Sprout for the Ems as well, but I think Ems is just so unbelievably good. Now that you've won Gym Grab, it's on to Pit Stop, the map that I made right here in the Championship Challenge. According to Spin, the 3 best brawlers that you can play on this map are Bibi, Nita, and Ems. Now, Bibi and Nita, they're going to go on the lanes, whichever side you spawn closest to. It doesn't matter, go left, go right, and Ems is going to be covering the middle ground. All right, so for Bibi, her main job is to hold off anybody on her lane and make sure that nobody gets through. She should win most 1v1 interactions, and then with her bubble, she's got 2 really good ones. If you get close to the safe, you can bounce it vertically and do a lot of damage, and if you can only get it from a distance, you can throw it horizontally longwise. It's not going to do as much damage, but you're still going to do valuable damage at a distance. Nita is somewhat similar, as she is a great hybrid brawler, mainly playing defense here, but you can turn around with that Hyper Bear, convert it into a ton of damage on the safe if you can find the right opportunity, especially with using her gadget. And of course, Ems is just kind of broken overall. She is so good in the meta right now. You're going to want to play her in the mid, keeping everybody back. With the combination of her Hype Star power and her gadget, she is able to just keep everybody at an arm's length away. And if she catches you in her super, especially against those tanks, she will melt you. So be careful if you're going up against the Ems, but if you're the Ems, patrol that center pretty heavily. Some other good options on this map are Barley, Daryl, Rosa, Colt, Rico, Max, and Brock. The ones that you do not want to play are Mortis, Tick, 8-Bit, and Piper. One of the big tips that Spin gives here is knowing when to attack, when to defend, and when to leave somebody that's attacking your safe. Say for instance there's a Nita on your safe without her Hyper Bear, you can feel free to leave her alone and just attack the other safe because you're going to get a good respawn and push her out. However, if she has her bear or if there's a tank on your safe, by all means, do not let them sit there uncontested. And if you're going to play a thrower on this map, use Barley. He's just clearly the best thrower for this map, although there are some better choices, as we just went over. Moving along to Siege and some assembly required. This map is all about control. According to Spin, the 3 best brawlers that you can play here are Sprout, Bibi, and El Primo. Where are they going to play? Sprout is going to be covering the mid. His ability to beat pretty much any other mid is crazy. He does so much damage in 3 shots, and you can use his super to block off lanes and keep them from grabbing one of those bolts that you really need. You're going to want to play Bibi in the lane. In fact, Bibi is probably the best lane in Siege, period. With her home run star power, she is so fast. She's going to get to those bolts, especially that first one, which is very important, and pick those up and just keep collecting, knocking people back, buying your team time to go ahead and get to the boss. And on defense, she can knock the boss back as well. Now, you may be questioning why Primo. Primo actually counters pretty much every tank in the game, as well as the best Siege brawler, who is Bibi. When using Primo, you want to find the right time to use your gadget, which temporarily stuns the enemy brawler, giving you some extra shots because you're really working towards one thing, and that is building up your super. Once you get that super, you're going to want to save it for jumps into the Ike, as he's going to do a ton of damage and really help you out there. Some other good mids here are Barley, Gene, and Penny. Gene's just he's almost like the center fielder of Brawl Stars. He can play so many different game modes, and he does very well here on Siege too. His ability to pull a boss away from the Ike, buying yourself more time on defense, is a really useful thing. As for the lanes, some other brawlers you want to take a look at are Daryl Frank, Rosa, Spike, Mr. P, Ems, and Jackie. And the ones that you do not want to play are 8-Bit, Piper, Tara, and Shelly. Is 8-Bit the new Mortis this time? That's what it seems like. Some overall tips here. This map and Siege in general are all about control. Use that BB with this home run star power to get up there and grab that first bolt, and then play control. If you do go on offense the very first time, you don't have to get it all in one push. Be sure to back out of the zone so that you're back into a controlling position and almost spawn trapping the other brawlers before the Ike starts shooting at you. Defense is harder now because the boss can walk through immune brawlers, so if at all possible, stagger your deaths to keep that boss off of your Ike as long as possible. And lastly, you're going to want to recognize how much dive potential your brawler has, how much damage you can do as a brawler without the assistance of the robot coming in towards the Ike. Say, for instance, Barley Super, you barely have to step into the middle of the Ike, throw it over there, and you're going to get a lot of damage. Just like El Primo and his Super, he can jump in there, do a ton of damage before dying, and then respawning. Okay, on to Bounty and Canal Grande. According to Spin, the best brawlers that you can play here are Sprout, Poco, and Rosa. While that's not the traditional bounty comp that you would normally think of, this is not your traditional bounty map. So where do you want to play these brawlers? Now, Sprout is going to go solo off on the left-hand lane preferably, and Rosa and Poco will go off on the right-hand lane. Poco is going to try to stick around that Rosa because with Rosa doing so much damage, healing up in the grass, Poco healing her as well, that is a hard comp to beat. And of course, Sprout has so much range and area control that he can throw into the grass. It's almost like a little deadly game of hide and seek, and Sprout's going to be the winner there. So be sure to pick Sprout and scout out those lanes in the grass to see if he can find them. That way your teammates know where the enemy is. One great thing about the Poco and Rosa comp is that it pretty much hard counters one of the standard comps that you're going to be seeing here, which is like a Piper, Tick, and a Brock. You're going to be seeing a lot of that sort of comp. And with Poco, healing Rosa as she leads the way, you can just get up in their face, you can smash past them, and you can just deal some really big damage. Some other good options for this map are Jackie, Mortis, BB, Jean, and Daryl. Daryl, of course, you can roll out of that grass, catch people by surprise. Mortis, so fast he can always get that first star, which is always a very positive thing. The brawlers that you do not want to pick, Crow, Dynamite, Shelly, Tara, and 8-Bit. Sorry, 8-Bit. One of the biggest things about this map is not getting pushed back into your spawn. It's very easy to get spawn trapped on this map because if you get all pushed back, there's only 2 choke points that the enemy really has to cover to just completely hold you back there and rack up those stars. Now, this is bounty, and it's never over until it's over, so no matter what the score, do not give up until the very end. As with bounty in most cases though, it's almost like a game of rock, paper, scissors. You can get counter-comped pretty easy, and this is one of those situations where you come in with the best you got, and you kind of hope that the other team doesn't have a complete counter for you. Now for an alternative comp for this map, the standard Piper, Brock, and Tick is always a solid one and works well against most other team comps. But the suggestions here should get you there and get you on to the next set, which is a great way to segue into Backyard Bowl. And of course, for the final matchup here, you will be playing in Backyard Bowl, the OG Brawl Ball map, the first ever Brawl Ball map that ever came out. And for that, Spin says the best 3 brawlers that you can play are Sprout, Brock, and Pam. Now, this Brawl Ball map is much more open, so brawlers with more range makes a lot of sense. Some other good options for this map are Piper, Penny, B, Poco, Rosa, Jackie, BB, Mr. P, and Ems. Pretty wide open variety of brawlers that you can choose from. The ones that you do not want to play here are Tick, Mortis, and, say it with me, 8-Bit. 8-Bit's just too slow for Brawl Ball. He's got great range, which is nice. He can play decent defense, but he's never going to convert it over to a score. It's not in 8-Bit's nature. Those 2 little legs, they're just not fast enough to carry that arcade machine. Now, since this map is so wide open, you can pretty much play the brawlers anywhere. Pam's probably best in the mid with Sprout and Brock out on the lanes, but reality is that once you get past the first 3 tiles of the map, you're pretty much all in open field, so it's going to come down more to can you juke shots? Can you work your way up the field, pressuring the enemy and slowly pushing them back until you find the right opportunity to score? It's important to take your time, be patient, and find the right opportunity to score. And also, a really big positive here is having a wall breaker. If you go with some of these alternatives, make sure you have a wall breaker on your team. Even something like a Penny would work with her gadget. You've got Brock, of course, with his super. You could even use a Piper here with her jump backwards to open up the map as well. My personal preference on this map is to definitely use a Brock. That's my personal favorite brawler on this map. He's got the range, he's got the wall break, he's got the versatility. He can even use his gadget to knock the ball out of another brawler's hand if you're really in a pinch. Works really well. Try out Brock here. The biggest tip that you guys can have for the championship challenge is to play with the team, whether that be your club mates, your friends, or somebody you find through the looking for group feature. Use that feature to get a team. It's going to work out so much better for you. Go into the championship challenge with a team that you can communicate with, and it's going to work out a lot better for you. Big thanks to the team captain of the world champions in Brawl Stars, Spin LC. He's got his own YouTube channel. It's really good, really fun stuff. You guys definitely go check him out, subscribe to him, and tell him that Lex sent you. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this championship challenge guide. I hope you guys got some good tips, strategies, and some brawlers that you're going to be playing. Of course, the brawler selection in itself doesn't win you the match. You still have to play well, and the further you go, competition is going to get better. So be on your best form. Hopefully you guys play well enough with these brawlers to get it all won. pick up those boxes. And if you plan on going further, good luck in that as well. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, until next time, I'll see you guys in the sneak peeks.